If you work with children and young people, whatever the setting, awareness of safeguarding is crucial. You may work in a nursery setting, a comprehensive school, a residential setting with SEND pupils, or a primary school, but safeguarding the children or people in your care will always be the priority. Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from My Progression, and today we want to explore the role of the safeguarding officer, an essential and vital role ensuring pupils are kept safe, remain safe and protected from harm. Any organisation where you're dealing with children, young people or vulnerable adults appoints a safeguarding officer to protect those in their care from abuse. They help prevent any harm coming to the pupils in their care, offer immediate, reliable guidance for emerging safeguarding concerns, and generally become a point of contact for any and all safeguarding queries. They'll take the lead in the decision around safeguarding concerns or incidents. So what is a safeguarding officer? And what does a safeguarding officer do? A safeguarding officer will have the responsibility of making sure all staff are aware how to raise safeguarding concerns within their working environment, and ensuring all staff understand the signs and symptoms of abuse, referring to any concerns to the relevant services and monitoring children who are the subject of child protection plans. Please see our video series on safeguarding to learn more about the signs of abuse and what to do if you have a concern about someone in your care. And whilst you're there, like, subscribe and click on the bell to keep hearing more from My Progression. While you might not have worked with a safeguarding officer, you may have worked with a designated safeguarding person or DSP, a designated safeguarding lead, DSL, or a child protection officer. And this role may look different between each educational setting. In some settings, the safeguarding officer will be the deputy or head teacher. Or in larger settings, it may be someone whose sole role is the safeguarding of the pupils. Remember, if you're a temporary member of staff, always check who to go to when you arrive in case of any safeguarding issues or concerns. Now in this video, we're going to refer to the role as safeguarding officer to encompass all safeguarding staff across educational or residential settings. So why is this role important? Every organisation that works with children or vulnerable adults must have a member of staff who takes on the role of a safeguarding officer. Having someone responsible is the best way to ensure that your setting has the appropriate measures in place to respond to safeguarding concerns as quickly and efficiently as possible, ensuring that anyone at risk of harm will receive the necessary care and intervention before it's too late. As soon as something is flagged up, a situation disclosed or identified, it is then taken to a higher level where it's dealt with, and perhaps those initially involved hear very little. Safeguarding situations must be dealt with confidentially, and it will be up to the senior management involved as to how much can be discussed. So it would be the safeguarding officer who would take things further, so contact social services, deal with social workers and be involved in meetings and plans for the child or young person involved. Some settings will give updates on a child and what's occurring, but sometimes we hear very little after the initial contact with a concern or an ongoing concern. So to be a safeguarding officer, you will need a number of special personal attributes, as it's a role which needs to address and handle situations in a sensitive but often firm way. It's also a role that's not for the faint-hearted, as you'll hear and see things that you may not have been exposed to before. And whilst being empathetic, you will also have to fulfil your role, so looking after yourself mentally and being able to process extreme circumstances and situations will be an essential skill to learn and navigate through. So essential skills for the role. You'll need experience working with vulnerable children or young people in a setting where you may have had to be part of a safeguarding issue, had children in your care. You need good listening skills along with good empathy skills, which will enable you to support someone coming to you with a concern. Good people skills. You need to be an active listener as well as a sensitive and caring person. You will deal with children and young people, parents and foster carers, social workers and many more professionals dependent on circumstances. Being able to adjust your behaviour and responses when dealing with a range of people, making them feel at ease in challenging circumstances, supporting and caring or informing and addressing issues takes excellent people skills. You You need to be able to work as part of a team. As mentioned, you're going to work with outside agencies such as social services, the police, educational professionals, parents and foster parents. You need the ability to keep calm in very emotive and charged situations, being able to keep calm under pressure. When working as a safeguarding officer, you may be dealing with difficult and distressing information, so it's important that you can stay calm, display patience and focus on the task at hand rather than letting your emotions cloud your judgment. The role requires a great deal of knowledge around legislation and protocols. You'll need to be given training on the current law and guidance of safeguarding practices for children and young people and be able to retain and use this knowledge. You'll also need awareness and knowledge around the common types of abuse you may come across and the signs you should look for to recognise abuse. You may have some understanding, but the training you receive will no doubt be more explicit. You need resilience. It goes without saying that anyone who's regularly working with vulnerable people will be highly resilient, but working with safeguarding concerns is a completely different ballgame. Not only will you be involved in situations that could be difficult to digest, you also have to be able to compartmentalise those feelings when returning to your regular role, or remain calm and composed during another concern. Having a high standard of literacy skills is a must, as you'll be recording information precisely and accurately, writing reports as well as reading and deciphering information from other documents and correspondences. A good level of communication and oracy skills will go alongside this, as you'll be verbally reporting information accurately to a range of people. Confidentiality. As a safeguarding officer, you'll be dealing with sensitive information relating to your pupils, staff or family members. This certainly isn't the kind of information that you'll be talking about in a staff room. Any information you're given regarding a safeguarding issue or concern must always be treated on a need-to-know basis. Objective versus subjective. It's crucial when dealing with safeguarding concerns or instances that you act on the facts and not on your opinions. While there may be situations where you get the feeling that something isn't right, it's still important to gather information first before escalating the situation. It's important to note that the role of a safeguarding officer is changing constantly, and up-to-date training will be required on a regular basis. This is to protect you and your professionalism in the duties you carry out, but also, and most importantly, to protect those vulnerable children and young people who are in your care. You might feel this is a role that you would like to explore, but you might not know where to begin. It could really help to have some advice from someone who's experienced this role firsthand before diving in. So we'd love to hear from you. If anyone who's made a career as a safeguarding officer or similar, what advice would you give to someone just starting out? Drop us a comment below. If you have an interest in child protection and think that the role of safeguarding officer would suit you, where do you start? So let's look at the formal qualifications that you need. Anybody working as a safeguarding officer will need a minimum of a Level 3 safeguarding qualification that's relevant to the setting they're working in. These courses can be completed online, or your employer may pay for you to attend face-to-face training. While this qualification doesn't technically run out, best practice suggests to renew your qualification every 3 years to be aware of any new or improved practices or procedures. Secondly, let's have a look at your experience. Prior experience in the setting you're looking to be a safeguarding officer in is advantageous. The more experience you have in your setting, the better you know your pupils, meaning you can identify safeguarding issues sooner. Even if you haven't been a safeguarding officer before, the more experience in an education setting you have, the more likely that it is that you'll have been involved in a safeguarding concern or instance in one way or another. You might have had a pupil disclose information to you, or you may have had to raise a concern to a safeguarding officer yourself after noticing that someone was arriving in your class consistently with dirty hair or clothes. The more experience you have in these situations, the more confident you'll be offering advice and guidance as a safeguarding officer. Thirdly, it's important to make sure you have the bandwidth within your role to commit to being a safeguarding officer as and when required. In most circumstances, safeguarding concerns or incidents are a rarity, meaning a lot of people can perform the responsibilities of their current role as well as those of a safeguarding officer. However, if your role will not allow for this flexible, fast response, you might wish to speak to your line manager to discuss ways to accommodate this. Imagine there was a safeguarding situation unfolding in your educational setting, but instead of getting the immediate support, the teacher had to wait for you to travel from another site or couldn't get you on your mobile because you were invigilating an exam. The outcome in that situation isn't worth thinking about. Now we know that every staff member in an educational or residential setting will be responsible for safeguarding the pupils in their care. But there's lots that you can do to help your safeguarding officer should a concern or incident occur. Make sure that any reports are as clear, concise and detailed as possible. If the incident turns out to be more serious than first expected, any missing information or clarity in a report could hold up the whole process. If you're unsure whether to report something, report it. This might have been the first time that you noticed that Jessica came to school with bruises on her arm that didn't seem right, but the safeguarding officer already has 3 reports with the same concerns from other staff members. Stay up to date with any safeguarding policies or procedures within your workplace. Now these are likely to change over time, but if you don't react appropriately, should an incident occur, this will take longer to reach the safeguarding officer and the situation may have escalated by then. If you want to know more about how you can support your safeguarding officer in your own setting, start by asking them the question. They'll really appreciate that you're taking the time to make sure that their job can run as smoothly as possible. And it's another opportunity to improve your safeguarding knowledge. Now we hope this video has given you some insight into the role of a safeguarding officer. Keeping up to date with safeguarding training is crucial, and asking for advice if you feel unsure about any situation is so important. Safeguarding officers have an important responsibility, and it's an incredibly worthwhile and rewarding career that will ensure that any children that you work with have their safety and well-being protected at all times. I've been Natalie from My Progression, and let's keep your career in motion.